YouTube. Brian Harvey has done a video today about how the state or YouTube are mucking around with his YouTube channel, keeping his view numbers down on videos where they give out important information. He's done a video like this before, which prompted me to make one of my own about how the state definitely mucks around with mine social media channels. I don't know if Brian Harvey's going round in circles or whether he's trying to take me round in circles. I could do a really long rambly video about this. It's actually quite interesting, but I know YouTube probably wouldn't find it very interesting at all. So back in 2012, a year I talked quite a lot about while Bill Maloney was running around getting a big following to cover up child abuse for people in the entertainment industry, like this fella here, covering up child abuse for people in the entertainment industry. I reported, not for the first time, an incident where I was sexually abused, aged about 14, and I was taken to an address in Royal Crescent in the London Borough of Kensington and Chelsea by somebody who said they worked in the music industry. Of course, they could have been lying, but there was evidence in the flat to suggest that it may well have had something to do with somebody who worked in the music industry. It had more records than my record shop. It had a gold disc hanging on the wall, or a silver disc. I can't remember what colour, but not everybody has a real gold disc, silver disc hanging on the wall. And the person told me they worked in the music industry and who they'd worked with. Told me a lot about that, they did. Anyway, when I reported it to the police, they lied about their ability to investigate it. A blatant lie about their ability to investigate it. So I made complaints and they didn't like it. So while that was all going on, I got on a bus one day and I ended up having an altercation with the bus driver. This fella, his name's Emmanuel. Emmanuel was involved in the murder of WPC Nisha Patel Nazri. He didn't have a small role in that murder. He drove the murderer to her house. The murderer got out, walked down the road, stabbed her to death on a doorstep. According to Crime Watch programmes, there was blood absolutely everywhere. All down the front of her house, right out onto the pavement. It was a bloodbath. And the murderer went back to Tony's car, got in it, and they drove off. I would imagine the murderer was probably covered in blood. Tony didn't notice that. But on the way back, Tony pulled over at the side of the road, right next to a drain. And the car door opened on the passenger side, and the knife used to kill a woman police constable was dropped down the drain. The door shut, and they drove off again. Tony didn't ask why we had to stop right next to a drain. Everyone else went to jail and got life. Tony got off. Tony said that he thought he was going to a drug deal, so he was found not guilty. I don't buy that story for 1 second. Turns out that WPC Nisha Patel Nazri was a bit crooked. Her and her husband were also running an escort agency. And WPC Nisha Patel Nasri had apparently used her warrant card and her position as a police officer to get some business done and to get people to pay their debts. So I put this up a day after or so the altercation on the bus. It was 19th of April 2012, and in 2 days it had about 900 and something odd views. And I was thinking to myself, this YouTube thing's, it's a doddle, isn't it? Then people asked me if I knew who he was. I just thought he was a bus driver. And then they told me who he was. And then the police got in touch with me and they wanted me to take the video down. Why? Why are they protecting the identity of a man involved in murdering one of their own? Well, I've got a theory. And my theory is the police might well have been investigating WPC Nisha Patel Nasri, and he was there that night, Tony, to do a bit of investigating to find out what she was up to. That's how I think Tony got off, got not guilty. Now I know the police, and if you were involved in any way, shape or form in murdering a police officer, they would screw with your life every minute of every day. Tony, he seemed to like protecting him. Anyway, let's go on to shadow banning. 8.5 years that's been up. It had 900 something odd views in 2 days. So in 8 years, it's only had like 100 views. But then what I found was, conveniently, was Watchman, the man that's watching me, had ripped my video and put it up 3 years ago. That's had 61,000 views. I'd love somebody to explain that. You might think they've got a lot of subscribers. They've got 78 subscribers, but only one video, mine. But then if you search Nisha Patel Nasri, you get all the Crime Watch programs come up. Now usually what happens on YouTube is if they are mucking around with your channel and they don't want people watching your films, they'll stick them way down the list. So people will never actually scroll through to get to yours. Nisha Patel Nasri, Nisha Patel Nasri, Nisha Patel Nasri. Crime Watch, they called Nisha Patel's killers. A very special constable, a tribute in 3 parts. 1, 2, 3, all about Nisha Patel Nasri. Oh look, my video appears right at the top of the list. That's the murderer. That's the bloke who organised the murderers. And that's Nisha Patel Nasri's husband, who apparently got them to kill her. I don't buy this story one bit. Anyway, strange, isn't it? There's 2 people involved with child sexual abuse, involved with Bill Maloney, John Wedger. I keep saying we get the same harassment, me and Brian Harvey. Brian Harvey's not interested in chatting to me. I wonder why.